Hey, everybody, Rex Bear Leak Project. How the heck are you? Getting ready to go live. As a matter of fact, I'm probably live right now, but I have to hit a couple more buttons before I start the intro. Sure is a nice day today out here in San Antonio. Let me hit the pause button there. 5 seconds. There we go. All right, cool. I have Heidi Vandenberg with me today. And the reason Heidi is on the show is because I want to get a detailed analysis of what these Vedic charts show about today's event in Las Vegas. Now, I've been doing a lot of research about this mass shooting in Las Vegas. And first of all, anybody that was injured, anybody that lost a loved one, anybody that has to deal with any of the side effects and repercussions of this mass shooting, my deepest condolences. This is absolutely horrific. Now, the question is, are we being told the truth about is the official story true? Is it a smear campaign? Is it something that was designed to create more fear and propaganda towards specific? Well, let me just read this to you real quick. 58 people have been killed and 515 others were injured after a gunman opened fire on an outdoor concert in Las Vegas, the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history. It lasted approximately 10 to 15 minutes. It was at Mandalay Bay on the 32nd floor. The person that did the shooting supposedly is 64 years old. Now, if he really did have 10 guns in the on hand, 10 high-powered rifles, fully automatic, and he was a good aim, and he prepared for that. Yeah, could it be done? Sure, absolutely. The question is, did he convert to Islam? Because if you look at a picture of this guy, first of all, it looks like he just looks like your regular guy that likes to have a few drinks. He looks like he's barely making it as it is. He doesn't look that healthy, folks. I mean, not to be rude, but you look at a picture, it looks like he's probably got some issues from drinking too much throughout many years. And then the story is he had a hunting license. He recently converted to Islam. And that's where my mind kind of goes, I don't know about that. Because why would this guy convert to Islam, first of all? He looks like a proud American, proud patriotic American. Why would he do that? And then also, if he did convert, why would they use that location and the timing and the events as it unfolded? Now, there was 22,000 people at this in the crowds. Supposedly, there were supposedly 22,000 people. So I am giving an open invitation. Anybody out there that was at the event, any paramedics, anybody that works in the fire department, any law enforcement, any security, anybody at all. I mean, there's got to be all the hospitals out there have to be full right now, I would assume. I would just absolutely love to have somebody come on the show that has a firsthand testimony and tell us what's going on. Was it really just one person? And hey, let's say the official story is true. Let's say that it was just this one dude and he converted to Islam and then he decided to go crazy and then take out the infidels. Why? What's the real story here? What aren't we being told? What's your take on this, Heidi? And thanks for coming on the show.
Sure. Thanks for having me on the show. I will say, I was very skeptical at first when I heard that, these are patsies, that, the false flags and everything. It really does upset you at first. It upset me. And then you don't want to say, well, but for me, I don't believe anything unless I have proof. And I just find it very odd that at all the shootings that not one person actually knows somebody. It's like, oh yeah, they knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody. But I haven't ever heard somebody say, no, that was my so-and-so, besides when I did the 9/11 thing on your show, which was my neighbor. Okay. So for me, that is just, it's hard to believe, number one, so everyone you have to look at. Also, I have a friend that is a investigator, and she keeps track of these things and has a chart, like a wrap of all them when they happened, because she looks at FBI documents and all this other stuff. So a lot of the things that she sees doesn't match up because she can get subpoenas and stuff, so I have a friend that does this. So, it's just very, it's confusing, because it makes you think if it is fake or if it is, maybe it happened, but maybe just not how they portray it to happen. It's scary because you can't go anywhere anymore. Like you really can't. You can't trust anybody. You can't go anywhere. And it's funny because I actually stayed at Mandalay Bay when I went to Vegas for the first time. And I don't know. It's just, but I will say this. And this is not in my charts, right? This isn't part of the charts. But 2 nights ago, I was having like this crazy feeling. I couldn't even explain it to you. I woke up every hour on the hour. Like I woke up I would try to go to bed early. And I woke up at 11:11, 12:12. Like it just kept going on, like it was just, there was always a pattern, 9:21, or, just, there was all these patterns all the way until the morning. And I didn't sleep barely at all. And I had really bad anxiety. And the next day I said to one of my friends, I said, something's going to happen soon. Like I feel something is going to happen. And boom, the next day there was that. And like I said, if you've seen any of my other shows, that I've done, the little intuition that I have is usually tragedies. It's car accidents. So like, if I ever say to you, don't get into a car, if I call you, I'm like, don't take that risk, because if I have a dream of a car accident or something, it will happen. Like I see car accidents on the road before they happen. So like, I'll feel them coming up to them.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. It's hard to believe. It's hard to, the Orlando one, I asked a lot of people in that area if they knew anybody. Everybody's like, well, my friend had somebody's friend. And, the one video, all I needed to see was that they were taking people back from the pulse. Like it was just completely backwards. So I don't know. It's, for me though, I look at the charts once again. I don't know. Maybe you should tell me a little, because I haven't been able to watch anything really about the guy. Can you tell me any more other information about him?
Yeah, let me tell you what I have. And I haven't gotten much sleep at all, folks, so just bear with me. But this is the information that I put together about this person. He shot amongst 22,000 people. He's just recently, ISIS claimed responsibility for the shooting, saying that Paddock had converted to Islam. According to ISIS news agency, Amaq, they said the Las Vegas attack was carried out by a soldier of the Islamic State, and he carried it out in response to calls to target states of the coalition. The Las Vegas attacker converted to Islam a few months ago. So if that's true, show us the evidence. Where's the data? I mean, if he converted to go into such a high operation, I mean, clearly he was used as a patsy for one side or the other. And I mean, 58 people and 500 plus injured. That's crazy. So it took him at least 15 minutes to get to the guy. He's in the Mandalay Bay, which I'm sure there's a ton of security in there, isn't there? You've been there. I haven't.
Yes, there is. There's a ton.
Okay, so the 32nd floor, I would assume, is where some of the nicer rooms are. And I looked up at the Mandalay Bay and looked at some of the images, and I could see that because there was two windows that were shot out on the official. Because I looked at the maps, I looked at the data, and there was 2 spots. I was okay. Well, if there's 2 windows taken out, it looks like that one window could be another room. But I did some research. I think it's the same room. It was a suite. So my question is, if the guy had 10 high-powered rifles, and he was, this was all strategic. And then they threw in there that all he did was he had a hunting license and a citation. So I'm thinking they could use this as a way to kind of go after do the assault ban rifle, put a ban on assault rifles again, and other things to kind of make it more difficult. And then at the same time, the NRA can use this to sell more guns, because look at what Obama did. And, when he was in office, all these new gun laws were coming into play. He helped sell more guns than anybody before him. So it's like, which side wins? Right. Are they doing this? Are they beta testing? Was this legit? Was this guy used as a patsy? Was it like the series Shooter, where there's actually somebody else in another room that does the shootings and they use that guy as the patsy?
Well, why don't we take a look at the charts? Take a look. Okay. Do you want my screen? Do you want to see my screen? Are you ready to see my screen?
Oh, yeah. We just look at.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the Mandalay Bay is actually the most interesting chart, in my opinion, because this is the birthday or the day that they opened. Okay, so they are, this is the chart of the actual hotel. And, you know, I'm not even going to get into all of it because I'll just say Rahu's in Aslacia. There's Mars in the 12th, but there's nothing here that you would say like, oh my gosh, this is a bad chart. This is a good chart. This is a good chart for money, right? Creativity and money. Just if this was a person. Okay, the sun is in a nakshatra that's a little bit dicey, but moral of the story is if you go to the transits, do you see K2 is on K2? This is like exact. So regardless if we didn't know the time or not, I mean, this is a huge transit, a big sudden event. And I always say that Rahu and Ketu, North Node and South Node, cause some destruction, right? And when they are transiting in your chart, you have to be careful because it's unpredictability. So, and look at the degrees, Rex. How interesting. Do you remember I said to you, it's very strange that 27 degrees always seems to be the degrees of somebody when a death happens. Look at the degrees, 27 degrees. Do you see that right here?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Saturn orbit, 27 years, 27 degrees.
Well, unless I just did this as a Scorpio, like I did it at 12 o'clock a.m. just because, I don't know. So this is a Scorpio ascendant. And Saturn in Scorpio is in that last degree. I mean, this is Jupiter just shifted into the 12th house. This is actually like my chart. So it scares me because Saturn first.
Let me just jump in real quick, Heidi. I'm sorry before I forget. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. The guy is in an assisted living facility. He's in a retirement community, folks. And now he just went out and decided to blaze off 600 people. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what's weird. I mean, his roommate, the only thing that I could think of is his roommate was Asian and she was in Asia recently. But I mean, who's to say? I mean, maybe that's why he had some connection to the, I don't know. It's just a weird story, period. I mean, it's his chart. Should I just go to his chart? Hold on. Now, we don't know the time, of course, right? We don't have the time, so it's really hard to justify any of this. But he does have a conflicted moon. So somebody that has their moon with Mercury, and Mercury is in the darkest nakshatra. I always talk about this. This is the sacrifice nakshatra, the one that all the government officials have in it. That's, you know, the Satanism one, I call it, Purva Bada Padra. So when his Mercury is in that way, conflicted to his moon, I mean, it's definitely, this person is unstable. Also, Venus and Mars conjunct in Aries. Mars is in Barini, which is the god of death. I don't know. But is it like I've seen worse charts. You know what I mean?
You know, let me add something also. I looked at several images, Heidi, and either people nowadays are just so zombified, like they don't think anything's real, or they were in such shock that they just want to sit there and look at their phone while they're getting shot at. But some of these pictures, you would see police officers behind cars and they're like ducking and stuff like that. And then you would see these people next to them just standing there looking at their cell phone, just like right in the open for somebody to shoot them. It just doesn't make sense. And then some of the pictures you looked at, especially one in particular, I had to keep going back, folks. I'm telling you, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm looking into this too much. I really, really do. At the same time, maybe I don't, because I would rather this be a false flag than something that's real, right? I would rather all these be actors than people actually getting shot and killed. I just want to know the truth. But I definitely think people were shot. I definitely think people were killed. And 22,000 people were there. So think of all the logistic chains. Think of all the people that either took somebody to the hospital, What about their parents? What about their family members? What about their friends? 22,000 people. There's got to be people that are going to come forward now. And let's set the record straight. Let's find out if this was just a lone gunman, just one person. Let's find out if there was a specific agenda. It makes me think of these TV shows like Designated Survivor, where Kiefer Sutherland that becomes president of the United States because of a terrorist attack. I mean, he was way down on the political chain. He worked in the housing department. Then he got put in a president because of this terrorist attack. And then this terrorist attack that's created, they make it look like it's the Islamic State. They make it look like it's these people in the Middle East that are doing it. But you know who's really doing it? It's these shadow factions behind the scenes that want to recreate America. So they're fighting from within. And you see these smear pieces on the news, and maybe this really happened. Maybe this guy was just pissed off at something else, and the media decided to take that and come up with their own smear piece to push their own war machine.
Yeah, I mean, I think something definitely, if you look at the Mandalay Bay chart, something could have went down. Okay. It's like very, very obvious. Just to what extent? I mean, that's when, once again, if you haven't seen any of my shows, go to channel 27, because I have a PowerPoint and I go through a lot of this. Vedic astrology is the sidereal zodiac. It's a lot different and it's a lot more accurate. This is like, we're throwing things out here without times, without facts. You know, we don't really know if this guy even exists. I mean, we don't know anything about him yet, like solid facts. Like, I haven't been able to do enough investigation. So we don't know his time either. I mean, everything changes that. Like I say all the time, if you don't know your time of birth, I don't do readings for people without their time. So, you know, it's definitely very, very, very unfortunate. I mean, something happened. I knew, like in the stars and the transits, like I've been saying with the weather, this is just a very intense few months, you know, there's a new thing happening too. It's called Kala Sharp Yoga. Okay. And it's a yoga that's very destructive that just started activating in Vedic astrology. So I totally forgot about this. And I heard it from, you know, Joni Patri, KRS, and it's a yoga that definitely causes these kind of things. It's in addition to the Gandanta, which isn't even done yet. So like I said, you know, the hurricane thing is still, I think that stuff is still activated and still can happen, like weather stuff, weather issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, also, Heidi, let's jump back to this event that took place. The 32nd floor, the guy is 64 years old. It seems like oftentimes there's just this bizarre numerology that goes with it and the signs and the symbols and stuff like that. But it was interesting when I saw some of the footage, you could see the Luxor pyramid in the background and that beam coming from the apex of the pyramid while people were getting shot at. Now, the thing that I just have a real tough time with is looking at these pictures, and I'm like, okay, maybe the event happened, but these pictures, some of them just look like they're staged pictures. It looks like the people are crisis actors. Some of them, this guy that's on the ground literally looks like a mannequin. He looks like a freaking man. I had to spend about half an hour adjusting the color and stuff to convince myself it wasn't a mannequin on the ground. Even his foot, the way that his foot is, it looks like his foot just got broken in half, and the guy's just sitting there like he's no problem. His eyes are closed, and he's sitting there like he's hiding under this car, while the other dude on the left is talking on his cell phone, waiting to just get shot. And then you got this other brother over there walking around like, yo, man, it's cool, no worries. And then you got these cops that have these guns that are behind the cars and stuff like that. It's like, okay, people are either really stupid, like they're literally, like I say, they're 2 steps away from zombies, folks. I can't even go to a Wally Mart anymore without almost losing my mind. I mean, you go in there, people walk in front of you, they stop, they start looking at stuff, and they start talking about stuff that doesn't matter. I mean, people are already there. But then you see the concert and you hear this, and people are like, oh man, fireworks, this is cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. How many people, though, were doing it? How much of that? Some of the stuff did sound almost like, I don't know, it didn't sound like gunshots I've heard before, but maybe it was just because of the amount of space being out in the open, the audio equipment that was picking up the noises and stuff like that. I'm just having a tough time wrapping my mind around this. There's something they're not telling us. You know, next they're going to say, Heidi, next they're going to say, it was North Korea. Little Kim, he his license out. Yeah. A bunch of North Koreans made it in. They came in through Mexico.
I'm waiting for them to blame everything on Trump. What? You know, pretty soon they're going to blame this all on Trump. It's going to be because of him. I'm just waiting for that comment. That's when I'll start really getting mad. You know me. can you hear me? Why don't I hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And if it's the crisis actor, or I mean, the actors, there was this one woman saying how she was rushing somebody to the hospital. And it was just like, really? I mean, is this a cry or what is this? And I get it. You know, I mean, I just don't even understand. I don't understand how they can release names so quickly, how all this stuff, you know, then the store, nobody has Facebook accounts, or if so, they're all like made up. I mean, these are the things that are just weird, you know, and this is a lot of people that apparently passed away. I mean, this is not just like two, this is huge. This is big. And a lot of people that are in the hospital apparently. So, I mean, somebody's got to know some of these people.
Now let's talk about the blood bank opportunities. They're giving all these media pieces. Oh, come in, donate blood. And somebody sent me a few texts recently, and this person goes really deep into some rabbit holes, and you're getting a call from the Men in Black as we speak. But as she sent me these texts, one of them said, what if they're setting this up for a blood bank because they need to feed the vampires underneath? Maybe not literally vampires, but you know what I mean. Let's create a false flag, or let's create something that, oh, we need to get a bunch of blood in here to save a bunch of people. And then maybe that blood's going somewhere else. I mean, who knows? Is it a big ritual? Am I just looking into this too much, folks? I'm just a conspiracy theorist in grandma's garage. So I'm looking into this too much because it doesn't make sense. Now, here's the deal. Let's take away all that woo-woo that I just added there. Let's just say that this was a lone gunman. Okay. He hung out in the hotel. He was hanging out in the hotel, waiting for the right time because he knew that there was going to be this event. He'd been planning for it. He hooked up with some buddies that are a part of the Islamic terrorist regime. And they said, yep, that's the place. You need to go there and do it right there. And he said, okay, yeah, I'll be your good slave. I'll do that because, you know, my whole life before this, I didn't have anything to do with it. But I see this now as being right. So I'm going to be the patsy. Did they brainwash him? You know, let's take this a step further. I have been very deep into research about mind control techniques and how to literally just take little pieces of your mind away. So 99% of it works, but that 1% that is gone now, well, now you don't have any aggression. So somebody could just walk up to you and just smack you in the face and you'd be like, okay. And you wouldn't do anything, but everything else, you know, I mean, you can still make yourself a sandwich. You know, you don't need grandma to do that for you. I'm joking. I need to make a comment real quick. Somebody said, hey, I'm 7 years old and I'm smarter than you. Yeah, you're a lot smarter than me. I'm joking around. I'm making fun of myself when I say grandma's garage because I left a couple comments, or people left a couple comments about that saying that, you know, hey, what's up with your garage here? But let's go back to this event that's really going on. Did they set this up to sculpt the masses wanting to go into war more in the Middle East? Did they do it for that reason? Was this something that is going to create enough hysteria with the sheeple to say, yes, we're going to give up the Second Amendment and we're going to follow orders blindly because you know what's best? Your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, you're asking me. I don't know, Rex. This is just like, this is tough for me to go into without me have here. I think it needs to be a couple more days before I start personally, you know, judging things. I mean, that's kind of when I have to let things simmer out, and I really have to do the research that way. I mean, I want to see more interviews. I want to see the hospital videos, just like in the Orlando hospital. After the shooting, there was a girl that apparently got shot by all these bullets. And I know when I was in school for law enforcement, when I got shot with fake ammunition, like the fake bullets, and I can tell you that my whole entire back was like bruised. Like this was just for a firearms class, and we did it. So my whole back was bruised. And so if somebody actually got shot, then I would say there's more than just a couple little pieces of tape. So these are things that I want to look at prior to saying anything, you know. I was reading some of the wonderful comments that are in here.
Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? I appreciate some of those different comments left in the live shows. But here's one thing that I find fascinating. If there is a way to literally make people just switch on or off, you know, kind of like if you watch the Last Ship episode, really good series. I don't know if you guys have seen it. The Last Ship, really good. Yes, it does have a lot of propaganda, but it also has some really good points. Imagine the genetically modified foods right now kind of being tweaked a little bit to make people more docile, more conforming. You know, they don't question things as much. Their lifespans aren't as long now. You look at the pharmaceutical drugs. So many people are on different pharmaceutical drugs that changes their mind. It changes their body. It changes who they are, literally. So maybe some of these drugs are created to keep people more docile. And I wonder if the last ship that portrays this red rust, this pandemic that takes out the majority of the population, and then it's tweaked to take out the majority of the food. So the people that are still alive, well, now they can't get access to most of the foods because they've been destroyed. And I think if companies like Monsanto and this manipulation of the stratosphere, you know, spraying aluminum in the atmosphere, now these patents are coming out on seeds that have a very strong resilience to aluminum. Are they kind of like throwing it in our face? Are they like, this is going to be the next pandemic? We're gonna find a way to create a new bug to take out most of the population. Then the people that are left, they're going to do okay for a while, but then we're going to come out with a new virus that's going to just take out the crops. So then the new food that comes out, they genetically modify with this, you know, to tweak your mind to not be aggressive anymore. Even people like UFC fighters or something that just love getting in the ring and beating the crap out of somebody because they're good at it and they enjoy it. Even those guys will be just docile. That's what the powers that be, I think those select shadow elite truly want as their agenda, to make the masses so docile that they themselves can be the ones deciding what happens. And how do they do that? Well, one way is to take away people's freedoms, to take away people's liberties and independence. And China would just love to see us give up our guns. They would love that. Imagine all the countries outside of the US that would love to see people just hand in their guns like Australia did. This is going to cause more division. These, you know, President Trump now is going to have to he's going to have to kind of pick a side, I feel. They're going to do their best to come up with more gun control laws based upon what just unfolded. Will it work?
Yeah. Are we having some internet connection? You sound a little funny.
Are we getting crackly again?
Yeah, I think it's because of probably our conversation, right? That's got to be what it is. I know it's just, who knows? It's really upsetting. I mean, I just think I'm looking at the logistics because since I stayed at that hotel, first of all, did you ever see the windows in those hotels? I mean, how somebody could shoot out windows and then shoot people from their hotel window like that is just very hard to believe. Just because I've stayed, and I actually stayed in a suite, and it was for a bachelorette party when I was there. And I can tell you, I don't know. I mean, it just seems so strange. I mean, if he was not in his room, apparently, it would have made more sense. But the fact that he was in his room, like target, like a government sniper, I mean, come on. He doesn't look like a government sniper.
You know what, though? If you look at the location, at least what they're showing us, I mean, I'm not an expert, but it seems like that could be a place that if you were set up to do something like that, I could see how it could happen. I mean, the person that they're showing as the patsy, I don't know, maybe that was just a real bad picture. Maybe he sobered up and maybe he did some, you know, special forces training or something like that. And he was just spot on. Or maybe he was put under some type of mind control, or maybe he did do that, but there was other people as well that were a part of it because it was a part of a bigger agenda. It was a part of a bigger plan. You know, maybe this is like one of those things to try and rally the troops, to try and rally the people together and say, oh, we need to go after those guys because they're bad. And I don't know. I think most people now are starting to wake up, at least people who listen to Leak Project. They question things because they've been lied to so many times in the past. Things don't make sense. It just doesn't add up. And when the official story has lied to you, the mainstream media has lied to you for so many years, it's almost impossible to believe the official story. So that's just my 2 cents. And I know it's not worth much more than that. It's probably worth about 2 cents. Maybe someone would pay me 2 cents for it. But what do we do to find the truth? Well, here's what we do, folks. Come on the show. Were you there? Tell us what happened, please. if you lost somebody, I am my deepest condolences. Sincerely, that is absolutely terrible. And I'm sure everybody that's listening to this podcast is going to say the same thing. That's terrible. So let's find out what's really going on so we can either put this to bed and say the official story is legit, or find out who the culprits are. And I guess we can either leave it at that. And do you have any more information you'd like to share? I'm also hopefully going to have Jay on the show later, folks. Jay from TRT Revolution. This guy is brilliant. He's the Decoders of Truth on Facebook. He knows his stuff. He's been on the show many times before. We do roundtables as well. I want to thank the mods and everybody that's joined us as well. But anything else you want to share with us, Heidi, before we close out?
No, I think I'm going to wait, and then, maybe we'll talk about it a different day when we have let this unfold a little bit and see kind of the mixed messages we'll get and see some of that more evidence that comes out. And then I feel like I can say some more comments on it. This is just the initial, first day. So I want to see a lot of video, like more videos, more information before I start rambling off stuff. That's just how I feel.
That's good. That's wise. That's very smart. Thank you, Heidi. Much appreciated. Folks, check it out. Channel 27 on YouTube. If for some reason the link doesn't work, because sometimes that happens, just type in Channel 27 on YouTube, and then boom, Heidi will be there. She does shows quite a bit. I mean, at least once or twice a week. She also has on Jenny Moonstone. They do different readings. She's very detailed in the Vedic charts, and there's a lot of software, and there's a lot of time and effort that goes into that. And Jenny's very intuitive as well. So also, I would like to say, folks, that if we do find out what really happened and it's not the official story, what does that mean? I mean, where do we go from there? And is that like the House of Cards? Once you start pulling these cards, then the whole thing crumbles, because then you realize maybe the ones previous to that weren't legit either, or were manipulated or fabricated. And then are there any Simpsons episodes, or is Family Guy even out anymore? I don't know. I mean, are there any cartoons or any media that's portraying this event? Because oftentimes when these events happen, it seems like there is a TV show or a music video or something that comes out a month before, a couple weeks before, a week before, that portrays the event unfolding. And also another thing that we can look for, folks, is if you want to be the independent reporters, I'm giving you guys some keys to look for it so we can get to the truth here. If you live in Vegas, go to a hospital right now, go into a hospital and see if it's just a madhouse. I mean, we can get a hold of the paramedics. We can get a hold of the EMPs, the fire departments. I mean, there's got to be people listening to the, like what Heidi does sometimes. She'll sit there and listen to the police, right? Or the scanner.
Yeah. If I was awake, I would have immediately turned the scanner on in Las Vegas, for sure. I listen to the police scanner all day long. And sometimes when I sleep, it puts me to sleep. But yes, because every time there's an incident, I turn that scanner on to see what's really going on. And usually there is something going on. Most of the time when there's an incident, but then what happens is there's so many people listening to it. A lot of people do this. So you don't get the whole thing, or you get kicked off, just things like that. I don't know. It's really,
don't do anything illegal. I mean, I don't know what the legal requirements are on listening to certain bands or whatever. So I wouldn't recommend that or anything. But, do what you can. That's legal. What's that?
I said it's an app. But you know what? Okay. There's something I should say. Once people were writing here about this harvest and this sacrifice, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. I know that obviously it happens. I will say, I think it's very interesting. Did you see what Jim Carrey said on the Jimmy Fallon show?
No. What happened?
You should watch that. He goes into about the Illuminati, and I don't know when. I just saw a clip of this, and he talks about it, and then he talks about the sacrifices out in the woods and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, oh, my phone. He's like, hold on. And he pretends like he's on his phone. And I don't know if he was like purposely calling them out, and it was weird. You have to watch it. Just Google the Jim Carrey thing. And, this nakshatra that this guy's Mercury's in, that I always correlate all the different political leaders to, a lot of once again, Donald Trump doesn't have this in his chart at all. It's this dark nakshatra. It's Purva Bhadra, and it's spiritual power. It's transformational, where sacrifice is undertaken for a higher cause. So whether, whoever has planets in this, if it's not for the right cause, this is when things like that can happen for sure, and it's definitely people that, I don't know. The more I look into the nikshatras, and I want to be cautious what I say, because, I have a lot of people that have planets in this that I do their charts for. So you have to make sure you utilize this in the right way. But if you don't, and you have like a confliction with your moon emotionally, that's when I see, people that do things like that. He did. If this is this guy's chart, he had more of a chart that was a confused mentality. Absolutely. Was he who knows if this is even his birthday though? We don't know anything about this guy. I want to see police reports. I want to see actual police. I'm going to actually go and look up the court case search, because apparently he got in trouble for something else. So you can go on court case search and you can get documents, and you can see if these are his real birthdays, if this is his real name, where he's lived. This is when my investigation mode starts. So.
Yeah, you're a great investigator also. It's nice talking to you, Heidi. Much appreciated. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this edition of Leak Project. We'll be back on tonight, most likely, definitely tomorrow. Question everything. Be excellent to each other. I'm not much of one to pray, but literally, I think I would like to, give a moment of silence and say a prayer for those that did lose somebody or had somebody that was hurt or involved in this in any way. So. All right. Be excellent to each other, guys. Be the change you want to see. Islam. And that's where my mind kind of goes, I don't know about that. Because why would this guy convert to Islam, first of all? He looks like a proud American, proud patriotic American. Why would he do that? And then also, if he did convert, why would they use that location and the timing and the events as it unfolded? Now, there was 22,000 people at this in the crowds. Supposedly, there was supposedly 22,000 people. So I am giving an open invitation. Anybody out there that was at the event, any paramedics, anybody that works in the fire department, any law enforcement, any security, anybody at all. I mean, there's got to be all the hospitals out there have to be full right now, I would assume. Hey, everybody, Rex Bear Leak Project. How the heck are you? Getting ready to go live. As a matter of fact, I'm probably live right now, but I have to hit a couple more buttons before I start the intro. Sure is a nice day today out here in San Antonio. Let me hit the pause button there. 5 seconds. There we go. All right, cool. I have Heidi Vandenberg with me today. And the reason Heidi is on the show is because I want to get a detailed analysis of what these Vedic charts show about today's event in Las Vegas. Now, I've been doing a lot of research about this mass shooting in Las Vegas. And first of all, anybody that was injured, it was at Mandalay Bay on the 32nd floor. The person that did the shooting supposedly is 64 years old. Now, if he really did have 10 guns in the on hand, 10 high-powered rifles, fully automatic, and he was a good aim, and he prepared for that, yeah, could it be done? Sure, absolutely. The question is, did he convert to Islam? Because if you look at a picture of this guy, first of all, it looks like he just looks like your regular guy that likes to have a few drinks. He looks like he's barely making it as it is. He doesn't look that healthy, folks. I mean, not to be rude, but you look at a picture, it looks like he's probably got some issues from drinking too much throughout many years. And then the story is he had a hunting license. He recently converted to anybody that lost a loved one, anybody that has to deal with any of the side effects and repercussions of this mass shooting. My deepest condolences. This is absolutely horrific. Now, the question is, are we being told the truth about is the official story true? Is it a smear campaign? Is it something that was designed to create more fear and propaganda towards specific? Well, let me just read this to you real quick. 58 people have been killed and 515 others were injured after a gunman opened fire on an outdoor concert in Las Vegas, the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history. It lasted approximately 10 to 15 minutes. I would just absolutely love to have somebody come on the show that has a firsthand testimony and tell us what's going on. Was it really just one person? And hey, let's say the official story is true. Let's say that it was just this one dude and he converted to Islam and then he decided to go crazy and then take out the infidels. Why? What's the real story here? What aren't we being told? What's your take on this, Heidi? And thanks for coming on the show.
Sure. Thanks for having me on the show. I will say, I was very skeptical at first when I heard that, these are patsies, that, the false flags and everything. It really does upset you at first. It upset me. And then you don't want to say, well,